Now, hang on. I saw something else as well that I wanted to bring up. That I saw, and I almost shit myself when I saw this. Hang on, let me pull this up. Give me a second. Because I saw this in the news. I saw a news thing for this. And I almost shit myself seeing this. Give me a second. Let me find a good article for it. All right. Yeah. All right. I'll use this one. So chat, how many of you have heard about this? That Star Wars is now putting a transgender clone trooper into canon, or they're going to try to. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yup. So, and you gotta love this first line. Sister is one of the most remarkable characters introduced in Star Wars canon, the first transgender clone trooper. There's a sense in which cloning represents conformity, because all the clones in Star Wars are duplicate created from the template of Django. For all that's the case, the Star Wars The Bad Batch started the mutant clones who comprise of Clone Force 99, and the stress individualism of clones like Cut Lockheed. So, there is a sense in which Sister is the ultimate example of nonconformity amongst the clone troopers. And apparently this is not new. Because this was introduced in some writer's Queen's Hope and is officially the first transgender clone trooper. And this is... And apparently the quote is Rex's... Whoop, shit. From the Secret Clone Troopers first look, Rex's description of Sister in the book reads, when one of our kind expressed her gender identity differently than her fellow troopers, she featured she'd have to hide who she blankety blankety. What the fuck? And look at the color. Thank you for the prime red bastard. Thank you. Okay, well, first and foremost, let's forget about the dreads. Look at the armor. Look at the armor. They literally made the armor the color of the transgender flag. Look at this. They literally put the colors of the transgender flag on the armor. Now, let me emphasize. They put the colors of the modern day, real life America onto the armor of a fictional sci-fi character that existed a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But somehow, they knew that these colors represented the transgender community. Are you fucking kidding me right now? This is exactly what I was talking about in my rant about Rev's story the other day. About shoving ideology down people's throats. This is not only shoving it down the throat.
This doesn't even make sense from a lore perspective. The clones are basically the same personality with slight tweaks related to Jango Fett in them. Cheer 100.
Yes, Aaron, although they did talk about where there were like mutant clones that were part of Clone Force 99 and that the Clone Wars were starting to stress individualism. But they on-the-nosed it so fucking bad. Look at how much they on-the-nosed this. Like, this isn't just cramming it down your throats. This is literally strapping you to the chair, putting a dental gag in your mouth, and shoving a funnel into your throat, so you have no option but to guzzle this shit down. Like, what the fuck? Okay, Cosmic, have a good night. Hopefully you're able to come back. Rygat, that's the theory. I'm guessing they explain it in Bad Batch how the mutant clones came to be. It's, like, I'm fine with mutant clones existing. I have no problem with that. But this is just flat out taking, like, modern far-left ideology and shoving it into Star Wars. Just because agenda. Literally. It was literally put in there because agenda. I mean, in theory, Blade, yes. Really, Aaron? Okay. Like, I want to find out when this Queen's Hope book was published, because I never even heard of this book. When was this put out? Oh, and and not only that, it's a young adult novel. Even fucking better. Published in Germany on the 25th in 2022. Yeah, so it was published in April 2022. No, right here. 2022. April in the US, it was published April 5th, 2022. So, it's 2 years old. It is 2 years old. It's not that recent. Alright, so she was a transgender clone trooper who encountered Anakin early on during the Clone Wars. He was struck by the clone's decision to ignore.
They realized that Clone Force 99 were labeled as defective clones, right? It seems like somebody at Disney didn't think this through. This is just pandering, like who cares if a trooper is transgender? Does it affect the story at large? I'm guessing the Jedi, Sith, and the Empire are still the important story factors, so...
It is? But the fact that it's... Here's the problem. They're cramming it into your face with modern-day leftist ideology. That's it. That's what they're doing. Let's see. He was struck by the clone's decision to acknowledge Sister's uniqueness, acknowledging her gender identity with the assigned name Sister. She served as a member of the 7th Sky Corps, working with Anakin and Obi-Wan on several missions. Oh my fuck. Anakin gave an affirming response to Sister, who wasn't sure how the Jedi would react to her. The Jedi are all about transcending things. I don't think we can complain if you're a transcended gender. Bearing in mind, chat. Bearing in mind, this is a young adult novel. A young adult novel. Remember that. Were there other transgender clones as well? Interesting question. In practice, the clones strove to rediscover their independence and sought non-conformity. Encountered Sister early on in the clone, meaning she was probably a first-generation clone trooper. But, oh my fuck. Like...
Wouldn't Star Wars have magic science to where trans would just be actual sex change due to technology because they already have a female clone named Omega in Bad Batch? These writers didn't do their research. Cheer 100.
Well, no, Aaron, it wouldn't fit with their agenda. That's the thing. It wouldn't fit with the agenda that Disney is trying to push. That's what. You are absolutely correct. That Star Wars, kind of like Cyberpunk, has the science technology to do that.
Does Anakin keep those beliefs after becoming Vader? Cheer 100.
Good question, Hoseki. Excellent question. Yeah, but absolutely, the Star Wars has the technology. Absolutely, they do. Because Star Wars has technology that supersedes Cyberpunk, for God's sake. In Cyberpunk, could easily transition someone, without question. But it wouldn't suit the agenda that Disney's trying to push, so they didn't do that. They didn't bother doing that. And instead, they had to actually make the character transgender with armor in the transgender colors. Because, of course, it has to have the armor has to have the transgender colors on it. So, yeah, I saw this. I wanted to share my pain with you guys on this. Because this is exactly what I was talking about with the Red video the other day. Is when you have these corporations that are cramming this ideology down people's throats like this, and this is cramming it down your throat. There is no way, shape, or form to categorize this as being other than cramming it down your throat. When they're doing this is why people don't want to have anything to do with Hollywood anymore, and it's why they can't enjoy entertainment. This right here is why people are losing the enjoyment of entertainment now. Because now, even if a writer genuinely and organically wants to put in a female lead, a black lead, a homosexual lead, transgender lead, or even have those facets put into a story organically, the average everyday person can't read that without going, where's the agenda? What agenda are they trying to shove at me now? Because that's all it is these days. Everything female, minority, and LGBT is being used like a tool for an agenda. And so now no one can enjoy entertainment anymore without questioning, where's the agenda? What agenda are they trying to push here? And I feel really bad for these authors and screenwriters that want to simply have these elements in their story just organically, because now they can't do that without the public at large casting an extremely critical eye or flat out saying you're pandering or you're pushing an agenda when they may not be. This absolutely is pushing an agenda. Absolutely is. Oh yeah, Hoseki, I mean, there was no. You're right. They would have. She would have been considered a defective and disposed of if she's a first gen. Especially if she's a first gen. She would have been, incinerated as bad.
If you can't enjoy the entertainment, they always, Godwin's law, and you're bad.
Too bad I don't describe the Godwin's law. Ha ha. Exactly. And Incognito, you're right. There's nothing wrong with inclusion in a story. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. As long as it serves the story and is done in an organic way. Not just shoved in there because must have representation, must fill the DEI bridge quota. But the problem is now now it's been force-fed so heavily, where literally everything coming out of entertainment now is force-feeding DEI bridge nonsense. That you cannot see a single story with anything like this in it and not be suspicious or not be immediately turned off because you're thinking, oh, suck, of course they had to put that in there. Because it no longer feels organic. And that's why I said during the Red video from a couple days ago, this is why SJAs, DEI, and Bridge has actually set back women's rights, minority inclusion, and LGBT inclusion. They have actually set it back by about 20 years. They have actually made things 1,000 times worse for the very people they are claiming to try and support and represent. Nobody wants it. Nobody wanted this, especially in this format, where you're emblazoning the transgender flag colors on a fucking clone trooper. Nobody asked for this. Nobody wanted it. And it's just, it's going to be yet one more nail in the coffin of Star Wars. Flat out. Oh yeah, Aaron, I remember, the first gen clones they weren't mindless, but they were all uniform. They were an army. And if she's purported to be a first gen clone, this makes no goddamn sense. None whatsoever. Oh, Kaibo, the vast majority of people that are LGBT fucking hate the allies and hate the LGBT activists. They don't speak for them. They do not. I've said this countless times before, and I will continue to say it. People that are LGBT don't want this kind of attention. They want to be able to live their lives peacefully as who they are, and they don't have any need to crow from the rooftops saying, I am X, Y, or Z, you must accept me. They have no desire to do that. And all these activists are making things all that much more difficult. They're making it 1,000 times more difficult for the very people they are supposedly championing to live normal, peaceful lives. They're making it worse. And I'll continue to say that. I will, because it's facts. It's literal facts.